Isekais have been a big part of anime since they blew up. But after some rough years, we can now say they have improved. Don't let this deceive you. I promise you they have gotten better. Just listen. Yes, Isekais don't have a great reputation. Or is the same with another face, or is just clickbaity titles, or just plain garbage. But what if I tell you that as for now, Isekais are getting better? So stick around because this will take you to a new world. But first, some context to understand what's going on right now. What we need is to go back to where it all blew up, where many people, including mangakas, writers, and anime producers saw an opportunity. Everyone, we are going back to 2012. The year was the best with new internet content. Some will argue this was the golden age of YouTube or the coming of it.
Yo, I got fat beats!
Yeah. The important thing here is that video games and gameplays were boom. This facilitated the spread of a new anime at the time, with a unique premise that empathized with all of this: Sword Art Online. And before I get destroyed in the comments, I know how it's not an isekai because of this, but the unique plot, the growing popularity in gameplays, and the growing popularity on the internet made it easy for this anime to become popular. Which means old and new generation of anime viewers watch this, which means profit. But hey, if you want to be transported to another world, why don't you subscribe and like this video? Chad here already did it, and he's already overpowered and has a lot of life, so this is your chance, don't miss it! What Sao brought to this table was the unique premise, the OP protagonist plot, and this. Yes, I guess. But this was not the start of the boom. It was something like the start of the Manhattan Project. And at the time there were some isekais, not that big enough or popular until No Game No Life. What made this anime different, besides being an authentic isekai, was that it was relatable to the demographic, like socially awkward, otakus, great at games, and some of the god girl taste. The fact of being transported to another world and showing off those gamer skills was everyone's dream. So the formula was set. From gamers in the real world to badasses like Kirito in another, you couldn't go wrong. These animes lure men to the grand isekai, pursuing dreams greater than they ever dared to imagine. This is the time known as the Great Isekai Era. What I like to say is that the beginning of the Great Isekai Era is when Overlord aired in 2015. And just like One Piece, everyone was looking for the big treasure. From big pirates like Overlord, Konosuba, ReZero, to some very small fish like this scum.
This guy stinks!
But what I mean is that this era was just an era of experimentation for many artists to get a big name. So that means everyone was random bullshit, go! Until something was amazing. Any boring or bizarre idea could become a great isekai, or just something. And besides being test after test, this era was a lot of copy your neighbor because he's making a lot of money, which means a big chance of the same old thing or just garbage. That's why isekais got this reputation. And the worst thing was that people consuming it waiting for the next big hit. So the only thing that the anime community got from this era was a ton of garbage and a lot of burnout people. And some god girl tastes. It's really just me? Until a mysterious anime came along and ended 6 years of this. Until Mushoku Tensei. Okay, being honest, I don't know if it was from Mushoku Tensei or not. Maybe a little bit before or after. But the point was that since that era ended, we have been living in the next isekai era. What I like to call the Renaissance era. In the last 3 years, most isekais have improved decently. In the genre ecosystem, you, me, and almost everyone else have been burned out from seeing the protagonist run over by a truck. So much so that we have a manga parody about that. But the point is that in a harsher ecosystem, titles have to be smarter and more engaging for you to watch it or read it. The era of copy your neighbor because he's selling is over. Well, for for most titles. So authors and mangakas have focused on deliver better thought out ideas, premises, developments, and world building. If it's a funny isekai, let's make it so ridiculous that it can be a parody of itself, or if it's just a serious story, let's not offer things that everyone has seen before. Let's try to do something new. Thanks to this mentality, we have seen great titles like Mushoku Tensei, Eminence in Shadow, Isekai Oji-san, Hanuman Saito, Sonny Boy. Sonny Boy? Sonny? Okay, well then. Mushoku Tensei, for example. I know it's a story that has been around for a while, so some aspects like the narrative and the world building are things that we have seen before. Let's be honest. But the simple fact that an anime that uses the same old stuff is popular today is a clear example that there's still potential in this genre, even without having to have a unique concept. And it's popular because of the main character, the development, and a lot of things. On the other hand, we have Isekai Oji-san, which has a great premise, where the character who was isekai comes back and 1. Tries to live a modern life and fails. 2. He was overpowered but terrible hero and exposes himself to his nephew. And 3. The magic he used is still able to use it in this world, so it's so stupidly funny and engaging. Another example is Handyman Saito and Parallel World Pharmacy, where the protagonist for once uses the knowledge of his world to have an advantage or simply to make the plot unique. Because let's be honest, most isekai's main characters are useless. Or I don't know, maybe. My point now is that many isekais in these last 3 years have tried to be better thought out, and in my personal opinion, light novels are the ones that carry this era. The advantages of being books with words and not drawings, yeah, I didn't know books exist, is that the time spent in illustrations is spent in developing better characters or world building. For example, Spider Isekai. Although in the world building and the premise it's something we have seen before, the way it's told, it's unique and engaging, at least in the anime. An entire classroom is isekai, not everyone is reborn human, not because they were classmates means they will work together, and on top of all, 2 perspectives makes you wonder which is the present or the past. In that sense, the light novels have a lot of potential that we haven't seen yet because they will be developed in this era. Now, obviously, not every isekai has been a great anime, no, bro. But as I said, it's a harsher ecosystem, so everyone knows when something won't be great. But little by little, this genre could give us new classics, only if creators put a little bit more effort into what they are creating. Because even though it's an oversaturated genre that almost everyone is sick of, there's still potential. Just the idea of being in another world with your knowledge of this world is interesting. It's just in the hands of the creators to make it better. But what do you think? Have isekais improved a bit? Is there still potential in there? Or am I just delusional? Write in the comments and I'll see you in the next one.